Alrighty, everybody, have you checked out this little piece of news? This is a big surprise. There's actually a lot going on for the same day campaign. Now, we kick off with a tournament, that's all well and good, and we have a brand new LR. We have a whole bunch of tournament easy A's, and then some awakenings for some recent ones, but some easy A's. The most hype and the most unexpected is this Super Vegeta. And then we have this Super Vegeta also getting an easy A. So this will be a sub number one, probably a sub easy A for the said, but this is perhaps the most surprise. Now, given his immense versatility with the fact that he stuns and has guaranteed crits and gets defense in a lot of places, really a big surprise. So let's have a look at base and easy A. So even in his base, right, his HP was a little less, but he is a pure Saiyan lead. By now, there are better pure Saiyan leads, don't get me wrong. So he had stats. He had stats on super attack. He had stats from receiving an attack. He stunned and crit where applicable, which is pretty good. And he had this, which is great, which is just massive attack, basically. That's pretty good. What's funny about this guy is he came out a little after, not too long from the 7th anniversary, a little bit after. In fact, if anything, like 7th and a half, right? Considering we just had the UI Gokus and the Evolution Blue Vegeta who had 50% chance to crit, this guy came out a few months later and he has 100% chance to crit on Super, which is absolutely mad. And was actually useful. But now let's check out his Easy A. So it's nice that Mastered Evolution as well as Pure Saiyans is getting a full 170%. That's the good thing about this. It's not just Pure Saiyans, it's now Mastered Evolution. So there's another 170%. The other one for actually, funny enough, both of these, but I think for at least maybe it might be a 200%, is the Realm of Gods resurrection of Frieza duo of Blue Goku and Vegeta, right? So we have 2 key 200%. Did he have key at the start of turn? He didn't. Now we have 2 key 200%. Factor in mind that we're going to have an increase of stats coming in at 55%. We're now touching 10,000, which is fine. That's actually not too fine. That's a ridiculous amount of attack. Coming in at 18,000 attack is hefty. This beats like anniversary level, and that's a lot of HP. With one dupe, 11.3 thousand. It's the attack and HP most noticeably that has the bigger buff. Just one dupe of this guy would put you crazy. And should you be looking at the rest, this is your rainbow and so on column. So even at rainbow, we're talking LR stats at rainbow. Seriously, except for maybe the defense, except for perhaps like some older LRs. This is ridiculous. But even at 55%, we're quite capable. So 2 key 200%. So now we guard all attacks for the first 5 turns from his appearance. That's 3 rotations with guard if you keep him on rotation, right? You get 100% to stats on super attack. Your super attack also gives you an additional 30% and you still get the crit. So you're now getting defense, which is nice, right? So you get an additional 50% with each super attack performed. So you get an additional super attack and your stats are going to go massively. This is nice. You get an additional 50% within the same turn. Okay. Now that factors in really well with guard. So usually you wouldn't give him this. You could theoretically have him in slot 2 or 3 in that case where you could do your super attack, so you get your super attack effect, right? So you get a little bit of this. And then, of course, you would then take the hit, so then you get a good chunk of defense too. So so you weren't terribly, you weren't so off put. Like slot 1 probably wasn't the great way, but now that you guard, you could legitimately put it in slot 2. So you get an additional super attack after you receive an attack, which is really nice, for which you get an additional 50% to stats still, and you still guard all attacks when there is a cell. That's pretty good. So this is purely just, it's like a non sequitur, so that's pretty good. So you have guard, you have guarantee guard against the cell, but you have guard. If you get hit, you will allow you to build the additional super attack, which is fine because then you get in this massive buff. Each one is critting. Each one will apply a stun when applicable. Each super attack is giving you defense. So in like turn one, you'll have start off with 200%. You'll have this plus your 30%. You'll have this. You'll have this. And then you'll have this, which is your 30%, which is mad. So you're getting this and this at the same time. So you're getting 100% plus the 30. You're getting this 50% plus the 30. Plus you're getting this 50%, which times by 2. So there's a stats are going to get pretty insane. Like his attack with crits is going to be mental, which is going to be good. So active skill still now gives 5 key and 50% to attack. It's absolutely ridiculous. What is it? What is it prior? So it can be activated 50% or more from the 5th turn, or one time when there's a cell, and it's going to be same. It hasn't changed, so you still get 5 key, ridiculous amount of attacks. Mainly, did he actually get defense prior? No, he didn't. So you actually do get defense on super attack now, which is really nice. Dude, imagine if he greatly raised defense. That could be pretty good because like he gets a greatly raise basically from here, which is all pretty good. To be fair though, he is getting this, so fair enough. This would double his base, which is 200%, so that's nice. So he's going to be a thoroughly all-round, pretty decent unit. Let's have a look at his links and teams and best partners and how you build this guy. So, Super Saiyan, okay, fine. Royal Lineage, nice. Prodigies, Saiyan Pride, Golden Warrior, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle. So we're talking plenty of attack, right? Royal Lineage is great for a little bit of key. Now, it's not so much needed because this takes the stress off a lot of people from the board. So, we do have that going for us. So, yeah, it's pretty good. Prepare for Battle would just give you a smidge of extra stats. That's nice in terms of attack and defense, but we're getting plenty of attack all around. Honestly, coming in with 18,300 attack with all of these links, yeah, he's consistently going to be hitting hard because he's going to have those crits. And I don't think you're going to struggle for super attacks too much these days. So, yeah, probably just going to be constant crits. So we have Android Cell Saga, Pure Saiyans, Vegeta family, obviously, Super Saiyans, Power Beyond, Full Power, Rapid Growth, Mastered Evolution, Wavy Rivals, Gifted Warriors, Heavenly Events. So some noticeable ones. We got a nice one for Vegeta family. It's Pure Saiyans as well, so that's actually really nice. And it's also Mastered Evolution as well. There's a new Fighting Legend Vegeta mission out for Vegeta's family and Super Saiyans, so you could actually rock this guy as your lead, and you could still knock them out both in one go. Master Evolution, of course, Rapid Growth, the Extreme Super Battle Road is a bit gnarly. Heavenly Events, Gifted Warriors, Worthy Rivals, another fantastic buff. Again, for the most part of these two, it is Piccolo, Frieza, and Vegeta. But again, you could make a Vegeta family team just going off the basis of what this is. So again, huge that he has that leader skill, and it allows him the flexibility to be used on multiple teams, but also link these people together. Power Beyond, yeah, you could still make it. Super Saiyan, yeah, he's going to have a place, there's just no doubt. But the others in particular are some of the more well-felt people in this. So, of course, best linking partner is going to be this guy as he transforms through the ranks. And it looks like we actually get the first 3 forms in this. And it's not going to be until you realistically hit this guy or maybe even this guy before you actually get the true benefit. But then again, you're still getting 7 links over 11 teams. So you're still getting all the links. This guy, good for movie heroes more so than Vegeta family or Super Saiyans, but again, a nice buff. Could be really good. Vegeta family as well, Pure Saiyans. It's these two as well, which is really kicking in. So again, fantastic linking opportunities. Hell, these Trunkses are actually not too bad. Still, this and the physical one here are still fairly respectable. I believe I was still rocking these for the most recent Extreme Super Battle Road for Saviors. And in particular, we're talking Rapid Growth, Vegeta Family, Mastered Evolution, Heavenly Events. Could be a pretty good one, because I mean, we're talking, well, you still get that little bit there, but you're talking Royal Lineage and Prepared for Battle, giving you 4 key and tons of attack. This guy's fairly new. I think he was the first unit for 2024. He's like Marmite, basically. You either love him or you don't. Pure Saiyan lead, Blue Vegeta, yeah, another 170%. I'd say he's been outclassed because this guy has a duo lead, so that's something for him, right? I mean, you could also say this guy as well, but because he has a super class lead, but honestly, I'm saying that Mastered Evolution and Pure Saiyans means he's probably one of the better Pure Saiyan leads going. So that's great. Oh, and of course, he does work well with the new Vegeta, of course. So that's great. So altogether, I'd say very powerful. He's going to hit consistently well above his rank. He, where applicable, is going to be able to stun, which is going to be absolutely huge because it's a guaranteed stun. We're not got like 30%, 50% chance to stun. It's guaranteed, which is pretty broken actually. Which is nice. And they've upped everything just a little bit. He just gets a little bit extra on each because it really isn't a world difference between the two. So that's the most important part. So there we go. So following in his footsteps, same unit, we now have AGL Super Vegeta, right? This guy, very old, coming in at 2016. So we're now touching 8 years. In fact, more or less will be 8 years. Pretty bonkers, right? So he had an awakening just a couple of years later, but sure. So now we get an easy A, making him incredibly useful. I mean, look at what he did prior. This, right, transformed into a literal essay, which is sure. I mean, what did he do prior? Weakened regeneration and various types of AGL, STR, physical, a little bit of stats. Okay, we have 150%. That's brilliant. He is going to be subject to a stat boost, so coming in at 55%. Do you know what? That's a shade within the Super Vegeta. That's legitimately a shade. Attack is definitely noticeably less, and so is the HP. But honestly, that's not bad. And you look at the defense ending at 13,000. What is Rainbow for this guy? Rainbow is 12,600. Oh, sorry, what was this guy? This guy actually has higher defense start of turn. Maybe not, because while he has a higher stats, this guy's only got 150, not 200. Honestly, defensively, I'm willing to bet he's on par with the Vegeta. Obviously, attack-wise, he is going to be less. 150%. Okay, so we get 100% on super attack, and if you're 50% or less, it's a guaranteed crit. What is your super attack effect? You seal and you build up attack. It's not attack and defense, but you do seal, so that's nice. Let's have a look. Launch an additional attack, 70% chance to become a super attack, of which will further raise that. Okay, you further build it up. You reduce damage by 30%. That's no small joke. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Let's see. Additional damage reduction 20% when HP is 70% or less at the start of turn. Pretty nice. You can have 50% damage reduction. Plus another additional damage reduction of 20% when you're under 50% HP. And an additional damage reduction of... Wow. This dude's a literal tank. So you get... Because it's an additional. So you get 30%. So if you fall below 30% HP, and that's not as if it's... That can happen. You'll get 30, 50, 70, 90%. So that if you go below 30%, you'll get 90% damage reduction. Hell, you fall below 50% HP, you're at 30, 50. You get 70% damage reduction if you fall below 50% health. That's actually pretty good. I mean, you get this. Actually, he's insane. No wonder he doesn't actually have anything in defense. He's immortal. Literally immortal. Uh, all allies key plus one, 25% to stats. That's actually really nice. Additional 2 key, 25% to stats. Wow. So he's 2 key, 50% support for AGL, STR, and physical. Wow. AGL, STR, and physical. So this guy is STR. Physical would be the transforming Vegeta. AGL. Actually, let's have a look at this guy. So yeah, physical. AGL and STR. So yeah, the new super. Yeah, of course, Super Vegeta. Wow, yeah, Blue Vegeta getting a buff. Trunks getting a buff. Both Trunks is getting a buff. Dude, actually, that's insane. Like this guy, actually, as well, respectively, this guy is pretty solid. Who else can we have? The LR is going to get a buff just a little bit, giving them 2 key 50% to stats is pretty bonkers. You actually have a Link as well, coming in with key attack, and more. Pretty good. No, seriously, that might be really, really good. This is really well thought out and designed. The only thing I would say is, arguably, the only thing is this. You raise attack, you build up the attack. It's not like attack and defense. And honestly, it's not that bad because you're going to go first. For which, when you go first, you have this, and chances are he's a floater. But when he comes back around, depending on your low health, he's going to have like 90% damage reduction with literal stats and can seal. So when we're talking about seal, we're talking Mastered Evolution Super Battle Road, Super Saiyans, Rapid Growth, Full Power, Worthy Rivals, Gifted Warriors. I mean, these Super Battle Roads, and when eventually the respective Extreme Super Battle Road stages, being able to be a 50% support for those respective allies, having the 90% damage reduction, because you could pop an item, you could pop several, you could still get slaughtered. Next rotation, you could have this guy, and he's going to be immortal, and he's going to seal, which will take somebody off theoretically take somebody off the grid. So he's going to have immense use. Factor in this guy, they're going to share the same name, but this guy can stun, and he's getting a 50% support on top of his crit, so his attacks are just going to be ruthless. You could theoretically have, like slot 1, slot 3 kind of deal, and you could totally set people up, and you could utter crush. Seriously, between the two of them, they could do really well. Right, okay, so similar sort of links: Golden Warrior, Saiyan Warrior Race, Super Saiyan Prodigy, Shattering the Limit, Soul versus Soul, and Z Fighters. Good against that Broly event, but by now you could probably one-shot the Broly event, so I don't think that's strict. Is it Broly, or is it... No, it's Regeneration, so it's Cell. It's Cell's Dokkan event, sorry. But by now, you could probably annihilate Cell's Dokkan event quite easily, so it's probably irrelevant by now. Still gives a nice amount of stats, right? But Shattering the Limit comes into play, which is really nice, as well as... so yeah, a bit of 1 key here. So that could be pretty good. Plenty of key on the board, even though he doesn't have it here. You're still not realistically going to struggle. So again, noticeable is Worthy Rivals, Gifted, Heavenly Event, Mastered Evolution, Rapid Growth, and Full Power. The rest, he legitimately could have a spot, even in some difficult content, because of his ability to just tank. That could be really nice. Roster of people slightly different. We're still seeing some Vegetas. We're seeing a potential Easy ALR buff here, because this could be really good. We're heavily focused on Vegeta at this same day. And honestly, I won't be surprised if he is the LR Easy A that we're going to get fairly soon. And then, still legitimately good. He's still pretty decent. This guy could do... Do you know, he is good. He's going to get an easy A at some point, and he's going to be amazing. This guy is. In fact, most of these are tournament, like tournament, and they've had easy A's, which is pretty great. He will have an easy A at some point. So again, legitimately between the two, they're really good. So just to touch up, then, how do we build these two? So building. So we have crits, so it means you can go 100% into crits. No, don't do that. That'd be stupid. No. Legitimately, you could go dodge, full dodge. And I could make that case because you don't really want to go additional. Yes, you do have defense now in your super attack, but you have multiple. You have additional super attacks put in, right? For which you don't get an awful lot from an additional super because you will build up, but you only need to do one additional super. So in the long run, you're not going to benefit. But having dodge, that could be good because a killer for this dude would still be the super attacks. So seriously, pure dodge is probably how you want to go for this. And this guy legitimately could do the same thing. I mean, additionals would only help to raise this. Now, you'd only need one super attack to seal where applicable. You don't strictly need that because I mean he isn't going to be the most offensive person in the world, so he's not going to be like shock and awe. So he wouldn't do so much. He has crits if you're under a certain HP threshold, but personally, I would say dodge and dodge. And honestly, it only takes a stone to undo the little nodes these days. It used to be 10, so it's a really good quality of life change that they've done. So dodge and dodge is just 100% the way to go. I mean, arguably you could say additional. But again, I reckon the amount of defense you'll get from an additional super attack over the long run is just. I mean, theoretically, you could triple super. You could. But I don't think you'll find it as beneficial as a dodge, and this guy even less so. So dodge is more the case. So there we have it. Lots to do. Lots, as I say, you'll have plenty of stones to attempt to summon for the new Vegeta, but personally, I wouldn't. He is good, don't get me wrong, and he's going to work well, but there's more things coming down the line. But more importantly, we'll have an easy A, and I presume a sub easy A. Yeah, it's a sub easy A, so get doing twice. Honestly, very impressive all across the board. There's just no doubt. Good to see that these units are very much comparable. Yes. But anyway, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you liked it. Let me know how it went. But hey, you know the drill. If you liked it, brilliant. And if you didn't, well, that sucks to be you. But thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.